Good morning, student. In last lecture, we have discussed about the Thevenin and Norton theorem, and in this lecture, we will discuss about the instantaneous power, peak power, and average power, and the power factor. And after this, we discuss about the maximum power transfer theorem for case of DC load, means resistive. Second, complex load. And third, both when the circuit has complex as well as resistive load. So before starting to the lecture, first we are discussing about the question which we have given in the last lecture. So first question is a simple, that is the first question, a simple equivalent circuit of the two terminal network as shown in figure. So these are two terminal network and we have to find the equivalent circuit of this network. So see, if we calculate the Thevenin voltage between these terminal, no current across the resistance R. This current I flow through the B. So equivalent voltage between the terminal is B. And second one, if we want to calculate the value of resistance, so see, this voltage source is open circuit, this voltage source is short circuit, while this current source is open circuit. Okay, so circuit has a path through the resistance R, so equivalent resistance is R. So in Thevenin theorem, voltage V is always series with the internal resistance. So this B and R are represented into the series. So our B option is the correct option. And in second question, a 24-volt battery of internal resistance R equal to 4 ohm connect to a variable resistance RL. Okay. The rate of heat dissipated in the resistor is maximum when the current drawn from the battery is I. Okay. The current drawn from the battery will be I by 2 when the RL is equal to, okay, 24-volt battery with internal resistance 4 ohm. Okay, so this is the BTH and this is 4 ohm is equivalent to the RTH, and this RL is connected to the series. So value of current I in the circuit is BTH upon RTH plus RL. And when the current is maximum, current is always maximum, or heat dissipated means power is maximum. For maximum power, RTH is always equal to the RL, or load resistance should be equal to the internal resistance. So 24, this BTH is equal to 24 divided by 4 plus 4. So now my circuit current become 3 ampere. Okay, and we have to calculate the value of RL when the current in the circuit is I by 2. So in second case, I by 2 is equal to 1.5 ampere, and this is equivalent to 24 divided by 4 plus RL. When we solve this, this RL become 12 ohm. So my answer fourth option is my correct option. Okay, so this is my correct option. Okay, next one, in question third, find the, in the following circuit, this is my question third, find the value of RTS as shown in the figure. So see here, there is a 4-volt battery, 2 ohm resistance, and this voltage is Px by 4 and resistance is 3 ohm. Okay, so when we want to calculate the resistance, always deactive all the independent source. So this voltage 4 volt is short circuit. So first just short this voltage. Okay, And for the resistance, just assume 1 ampere current between the terminal. So we have taken 1 ampere current between the terminal, and this now, because the voltage this between the terminal is Px, this is plus and minus, and this voltage is equal to the Rts. Because current we have assumed 1 ampere, so Bx divided by 1 ampere is equal to the Rts. So Rts is now equal to the Bx. So now we are applying the KVL starting from this point. So this point is suppose A, this point is suppose B, and that is C, and this point is D. Okay, we are not applying this KVL in this loop. Why in this loop? Because current source is given, so we cannot apply the KVL in that loop in which current source is given. So we are applying the KVL in outer loop. So starting from A point, A, B, C, D, A. So here we are getting the negative sign. So this is minus Px, and current in 3 ohm is 1 ampere. So this is 3 into 1 plus, and current in 2 ohm is Bx by current from here, and 1 ampere current is from here. So current in this resistance is 1 plus Bx by 4 multiplied with 2. Voltage source is short circuit, so no term, and this is equal to 0. And when we solve this voltage Bx become equal to the 10 volt, and this is equal to the resistance of the circuit. So our answer D is my correct option. Okay. Now next one is, see, in question 4, find the value of RTH between the terminal A and B. Again with the same type of problem. So just to solve this circuit, first deactivate all the independent source. So this voltage source is short circuit. Okay, no meaning of this 9 volt supply in case of resistance, and assume 1 ampere current between the terminals. So this is, we are assuming here current as 1 ampere. Okay, and this voltage Px. So current in this branch 4 ohm resistance is, voltage is Bx, resistance is 4. So current in this branch equal to Bx by 4 from bottom to top, because bottom has the positive sign. So current Bx by 4 flow from bottom to top. Okay, and now current in this branch, this resistance is 8 ohm, 1 ampere is from here, Bx by 4 is here, and outgoing current is 0.75 Bx. So current in this branch is 1 plus Bx by 4, 1 plus Bx by 4 become 0.25 Bx. Okay, and outgoing current is 0.75 Bx. So this is minus 0.75 Bx. Okay, that is the outgoing current. So now we are applying the KVL is again in this outer loop. A, this point is B, and this is C, and this point is D, A, B, C, D, A. So starting from A, we are getting the positive sign. So this is plus Bx, and next is 8 ohm, and current in this branch is 1 minus 0.5 Bx, or nothing is come into this loop. So this is equal to 0. So we have calculated the value of Bx equal to 8 by 3. Okay, so first Bx by equal to 8 by 3, and remember the resistance between the terminal. Okay, because here A and B sign is given just opposite, at A is negative and B is positive, so RTH is equal to the minus of Bx. Okay, because we always assume a voltage B and find the current I, and the using this we have calculated the value of Bx is 8 by 3. So this voltage B equal to the RTH equal to the minus of Bx, so equal to the minus 8 by 3. So my third option is the correct option. Okay, so always remember the sign solving the problem. So always take some time before starting the problem, because solve as cool as you are in solving the problem, okay, you can easily solve the problem. Okay, so just be cool as possible. So next one is, so in next problem, see what has been given. Measurement, question is saying measurement between terminal A and B, measurement made of terminal A and B following circuit deal of current voltage characteristic as shown in figure. The Thevenin resistance is. So see, between terminal, this is my current I and this is the voltage of B. Okay, so at this x-axis is representing the voltage while y-axis is representing the current. So at x-axis, the value of current is 0. So 0 value of current means open circuit. So my open circuit voltage become minus 3 volt because this line is touching at the point minus 3 on the x-axis. So the value of BTH become equal to minus 3 because minus 3 because this is representing the open circuit voltage. Okay, so on y-axis the voltage value is 0. So voltage 0 means short circuit. Okay, a short circuit is representing the short circuit current. So the short circuit current, this is ISC. So ISC of my circuit is now equal to 30 milliampere. Okay, so this is the value of current. So Thevenin resistance is always equal to the BTH over ISC or IN. So that is minus 3 divided by 30 milliampere. So this value of resistance is minus 100 ohm. So never confuse with the sign. Okay. So see, there is answer is minus 100 ohm and the 100 ohm, but correct answer is minus 100 ohm. Okay. Now one last question. Question is saying, see, consider the following linear circuit. Three sources have fixed the value of IS1. Fixed value, only IS1 can be varied. So this is a linear circuit having a different source IS1, this is IS2, IS1, BS1, and that is IS3. Okay, different sources given, and we have to and the question is saying it is given then when if IS1 equal to 3 ampere, the value of B out is 16 volt. If IS1 is 1 milliampere, then B out is 8 volt. So if IS1 is 0.5 milliampere, what is the value of B out? So see, because only IS1 is varying, while other are the constant, and RLC, because network is linear, so that is an RLC type network. So there will that is linear network means follow the rules of superposition. So what we can assume, equation we can assume as B equal to AIS1 plus K. This K is representing the constant term due to the other source. We are varying the IS1, so equation can be write as B equal to AIS1 plus K. So when the value of current IS1 is 3, the voltage value is 3. Okay, so my, and in second case, when A equal to IS1 is 3, the current value is 8. So first equation is 16 equal to 3A plus K, and second equation is 8 equal to A plus K. by solving these two equations, a become 4 and k become 4, and now the equation become b equal to 4 is1 plus 4. Now when you put the value of is1 equal to 0.5, we will get the answer of this question. Okay, so is1 is 0.5, so this become equal to 0.5 into 4, 2 plus 4, 6. So my answer 6 volt is my correct answer. Okay. So see, now in this lecture, we are starting with instantaneous power. What is instantaneous power? Peak power, average power, okay, or power factor in a circuit. Okay, so here we have represent a sinusoidal source. So this is my sinusoidal source is feeding a passive linear network. Passive linear network means the circuit has RLC type element. Okay, so if the voltage in the circuit is Vt and current flow is the It, so the power provided by the sinusoidal source Pt is equal to Vt plus It. Okay, instantaneous power means power at any instant, and power at any instant is equal to the voltage at that instant multiplied by the current at that instance. Okay, so now in this equation we are assuming that voltage Vt equal to Vm cos omega t plus theta v. Theta v is representing the initial phase and omega is representing the frequency. So we are assuming that voltage is Vm cos omega t plus theta v, and the current It is Im cos omega t plus theta I. Theta I is representing the initial phase of the current. Okay, so because we are assuming the sinusoidal term, so this is uh, voltage Vt as Vm cos omega t plus theta v, and current It is Im cos omega t plus theta v. Now putting the value of Vt and It into this equation, suppose this equation number 1. So now Pt become equal to Vm Im, and this is cos omega t plus theta v, and second term is cos omega t plus theta I. Okay, so it has a term of cos A cos B. So if we want to solve this equation, so multiplied in this equation by a factor of 2 and divide by a factor of 2. So this is 2 cos A cos B, and 2 cos A cos B is cos A minus B, okay, plus cos A plus B. So after putting this, so this is half Vm cos I Vm Im half, and this is cos A minus B. First term is cos theta V minus theta I, and second term is half Vm Im, and this is cos A plus B cos 2 omega t plus theta V plus theta I. So instantaneous power has two terms. See, instantaneous power has two terms. One term is constant. Okay, it does not the function of time, while second term has first double of the frequency as I applied 2 omega t. So it has the frequency 2 omega t and total phase is theta b plus theta I. So see how can we represent this equation. So see, if we represent this power Pt, this is my power Pt with respect to the time. So uh, this is representing the constant term, that is first term. Okay, so constant term, this is half Bm. So this term is half Bm Im. Okay, that is Bm Im. Second term is Im into cos theta b minus theta I. So this is a constant term, so does not varying with respect to time. So this is representing the constant term, while second term is an time varying cosine term with initial phase. So phase lead is theta b minus theta I. So it is has the initial phase This is total initial phase. I'm clearing my drawing just. So this is representing the initial phase theta b minus theta I. Okay, so this is representing the DC term half Bm Im cos theta b minus Im uh, theta b minus theta I, while this is representing the time varying field, and equation is half Bm Im cos 2 omega t plus theta b minus plus theta I. So peak is formed at point of t by 2 because frequency of the circuit is double. So time is at the t by 2. Okay. So time period of the waveform is t by 2. So that is the total value of our instantaneous power. So if we want to calculate the average value of this equation, so the average value of a function is always given as 1 upon t, that is 1 upon t. Average value of the function is 0 to t for a period, and suppose function is xt, so this is xt and the dt. Okay, so this is the average value of the function. So now we are calculate the average value of this instantaneous power. So this is half 0 to 2 first term with dt, so there is a term of dt, and second term, that is half bm, we have forgotten here the 2, so this is bm im by 2 cos 2 omega t plus theta b plus theta I into dt. So see, in the first term all term are constant, so dt value is t, and this t will cancel with the t, so term become equal to half bm im cos theta b minus theta I. While if we talk about the second term, so for a cycle starting from anywhere, it has half as the positive negative cycle and half it has the positive cycle. So average value of this signal is 0, or as we already know that the AC always has the average value 0. So if you solve this for a cycle, so second term equation become 0. So our circuit has only term half Bm Im cos theta b minus theta I. So always remember the maximum value in the circuit is Bm Im by 2. Bm Im by 2, it is representing the RMS. Okay. So if Bm is the peak value, so Bm by root 2 is representing the RMS value, and Im is the maximum current, then Im by root 2 is the maximum current. So the value of power, average value is half Bm Im cos theta b minus theta I, and maximum value is Bm into Im. And maximum average value is of the circuit if theta b become theta I, if cos theta b minus theta is 0, so maximum average value in the circuit is half bm into Im. One important point before moving further, if this cos theta b minus theta I, this theta b minus theta I representing the phase difference between the voltage and current, and cosine of phase difference of voltage and current is known as the power factor. Okay, so if you want to calculate the power factor, so what is power factor? It is the phase difference between the voltage and current with cosine sign. Okay, take the cos of the phase difference of voltage and current, it will give you the power factor. Okay, and next is what is resonance? Resonance is also come here if voltage and current of the circuit are in same phase. So theta b minus theta I equal to 0, theta b equal to theta I, voltage and current are in same phase. This is known as condition of resonance. So cos theta b equal to theta I. So this term become cos 0 or power factor become 1. So if a circuit is in resonance, then power factor of the circuit is always 1. Okay. So till now, what we have discussed, that this is the instantaneous power, and instantaneous power has two terms. One is constant term, second is time derivative term. The average value of power is equal to this. Now important, if we want to represent this into the phasor form, so voltage V is equal to the peak value of voltage Vm with angle theta V, and I is the peak current of Im with angle theta I. So this power, total power P, how can we represent this? This is half real part of voltage P with complex conjugate of the current. Always remember, how can you represent the power in phasor form? This is half real part of voltage with complex conjugate of the current. So see, this is half Bm Im, and real part is cos, that is real part is always cos, cosine sine. So this is theta b minus theta I, same as we have discussed here. Okay. There are two important cases to further moving further. If theta b equal to theta I, voltage and current are in same phase, and this is the case of resistance. So when theta b and theta I both are in same phase, we are talking, and this is the case of resistance. So power in the circuit is equal to half Bm Im, or half mod of I square R. So maximum power dissipation across the resistance. While we talk if theta v minus theta I equal to plus minus 90, if voltage and current have a phase difference of 90 degree, then power equal to the 0, and power equal to 0, and this is the case of capacitor and inductor. In case of capacitor and inductor, phase difference of voltage and current is always 90 degree. So power across the capacitor and inductor is always 0. So these are some important points. Okay, now we are discussing some important problem based on this. So first question is, calculate the power supplied by the source and absorbed by the element. So here we have shown a simple circuit. The current in circuit is I, and the voltage applied is 530. So current in the circuit CI is total voltage divided by the total impedance. This is 4 and minus J2. Okay, one point is also remember, whenever we show the capacitor, it is always represented with minus J of some constant. So capacitance, impedance, reactance is always represented as 1 upon J omega C. And this is equivalent to, minus of J upon omega c. Okay, so this equation is representing, so what is the significance of 2? 2 is representing the value of 1 upon omega c. Okay, so whenever you solve the problem, always remember, whenever there is a capacitance, it always represent with the negative sign, and whenever there is the positive sign, it means that is an inductor. Okay, so total reactance is minus J2, and 2 is represent, 2 value is equivalent to 1 upon omega c. So now current in the circuit I is equivalent to total voltage divided by 4 minus J2, and when we put this into the circuit, so this first polar form is divided by the polar form, magnitude is divided, and if angle is in numerator and denominator, angle will be subtract. So 30 minus 26.57, so this is 56.57. Okay, one more thing to convey to you, that please use the calculator properly. know how can we find the polar form, how can we find the rectangular form, how we convert one polar form to rectangular for rectangular to polar, because this will help you to solve a problem very easily, and it will also take a very little time to solve a problem. Okay, you will find the advantage of this into the different competitive exam. Okay. Okay, so now current in my circuit become equal to this. So average power supplied by the battery PS. Okay, so one more important thing, please listen. Whenever current is entered from the negative sign, it's mean power is supplied by the source. Okay, and if current is entered into a source, then power is absorbed by the source. I'm again repeating. So power may be absorbed, the source may absorb the power or may deliver the power. So whenever current is entering from negative to positive terminal, it means power is supplied by the source. And whenever current is entered from positive terminal, it means power is when the current is entered from negative to positive, power is supplied by the source. And if current is entered from positive to negative, power is uh, something is wrong. I am again repeating my sentence, so listen. If current is entered from negative to positive, it's mean power is supplied by the source. And if current is entered from positive to negative, it's mean power is absorbed by the source. So in this case, current is entered from negative to positive, so power is supplied by the source. So power is equivalent to 1 by 2, power is 1 by 2 Pm Im cos theta b minus theta I. So half is the first factor, voltage value is Pm is 5, current we have calculated as 1.118, cos angle is theta is 30 degree, theta b, and minus theta I is 30 minus 56.57, and when we solve this term is equivalent to 2.5 watt. So this is the power supplied by the source. Now second, we are interested in the power of 4 ohm resistance. So current is same, I equal to IR, same current across the resistance. The voltage across the resistance B is resistance 4 multiplied with the current. So this is the my voltage across the resistance. So average power across the resistance, because voltage and current are in same phase, so this is half Bm into Im. So half, so this is the voltage of Br and this is the value of current IR. So this is 2.54. Okay, so same term, same power absorbed by the source as supplied by the battery. Okay, now power absorbed by the capacitor is zero. Why this is zero? Because voltage and current at 90 degrees. So power absorbed by the capacitor or average power absorbed by the capacitor is zero. Clear? So that is the first question. Now, one more question. Please go through this. You find some important uh, conclusion in this example. So, see, here a problem is given. This is 4 zero source 20 ohm resistance minus J5 60 30 and we have mentioned as this is the source number 1. Suppose this is 1, 2, third element 3, and this is suppose fourth element 5, fifth element. We have to find the power of individual element or source, and at last we have find the sum of all the power. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to find the power of individual element and summation of all the power. Okay, so now I'm just clearing my drawing and wait. So see, if we assume current in this branch is I1, okay, and current in current in first loop is I1 and in second loop is I2. So see, this I1 has a equivalent to the current of this source, because current source is given, so I1 equal to the value of 40. So this is the first I1 equal to the 4 ampere, or 4 angle is 0, so we have not shown that. I1 equal to the 4 ampere. Okay, now we are applying the KVL in this loop starting from this point. This point is suppose A, B, this is C point, and that is my D point. So starting from A point, that is J10, and current in this branch is I2 minus I1 and minus J5 into I2. We are getting next plus 60 plus sign, so this is 630 equal to 0. So after this, solving this, Ji2 is equivalent to this term. Please, I am again requesting you, please use the calculator. So you can solve the problem with a little time. Okay, time is always money, or a, a way to enter, qualify the examination. Okay, so you have to reduce your time as possible. So please use the calculator and learn how the complex problem can be solved through the calculator. So now I2 value is equivalent to this. Okay, so now first we are P5. P5, now first we are finding the power of P5. P5 is this source. Okay, so in this source we are assuming the current from positive to negative terminal. So this is an absorbed power. Power is delivered when the current is entered from negative to positive. Okay, but here power is absorbed, so this is shown as the absorbed power, and absorbed power is always represented by the plus sign. Always remember. So this is half. Bm value is 60. Current I2 value is 10.58. Cos this angle is theta. So first theta V is 30 degree, and the theta I is 79.1. So when we calculate the value, this value is equivalent to 207.8 watt. Okay, so this is the absorbed power. Now we are interested in power of the just wait, 20 I1 plus J I1 minus I2, I1 minus I2. Okay, now B1 is representing the voltage across the 40. So first, to calculate the power of this source B1, we are going to calculate the value of B1. So now this voltage B1 is equivalent to the 20 into I1. Current in the circuit is I1. So this is 20 I1 plus J 10, and current is I1 minus I2. Now put the value of I1 and I2. We got the value of B1 is equivalent to this 184.9 into 6.21. Okay, now power of the source P1. Here we have written as the supplied. Always remember supplied. Supplied means when the current is entered from negative terminal to the positive terminal, and it will always take with the negative sign. So here we have shown the negative sign. So this is half. B voltage value is this 184.9. Current is 4 ampere. Cos theta B angle is 6.21, and the theta I angle is 0. So this is the value of my source P1. Okay, so this is the value of P1. Now value of source P2. P2 is representing the power in 20 ohm resistance. Now I am again clearing my drawing. So this power P2 is equivalent to the half Vm into Im. So voltage across the resistance is 80, current is 4 ampere. So total value is 160 watt. Now we are interested, this is my fourth element. So now we are going to find the power across this 4 ohm. So the voltage across the capacitor B4, this is impedance value is minus J5 and current value is I2. So when we put J5, minus J5 is equivalent to 5 into minus 90 into polar form, and this is equivalent to the value of my current. So this term become equal to 52.9 and angle becomes 79.1 minus 90 degree. So the value of P4 is half, the voltage is 52.9, current value is 10.59, and angle is, uh, what is the angle value? 79, and total difference of the angle become minus 90. Okay, theta B minus theta I is minus 90, that is cos minus 90, because voltage difference between the voltage and current angle difference between capacitor is minus 90, or voltage lag by the, it is also saying that voltage lag by the current by 90 degrees. So this is minus 90 become equal to 0. So power across the capacitor is 0. If we talk about the inductor voltage, so in this is my inductor. So inductor voltage are representing with this sign. So this is Z10. I am clearing the drawing, just wait. So this is, we are representing the voltage like this. So this is Z10 I1 minus I2. So this is Z10, and put the value of for all value, that is equivalent to the this term. Okay, so P3 is half, voltage value become 105.8 and current value become 10.58. And when you find the theta B minus theta A, this is again 90 degrees. So this power is 0. So power across the inductor is also 0. So inductor and capacitor does not consume any power. And if we make the power sum of P1, P2, P3, P4 and P5, these all sum of the power is 0. That so the rule of conservation of power. Power can't be created nor be destroyed. So supplied power from the source is equal to the power consumed by the element. Okay. Now see, maximum power transfer theorem, very important theorem. Okay, so we will discuss the maximum power transfer theorem because the equivalent of a circuit can be converted into a resistance at the voltage source and load is connect between the terminal. Okay, so as we have discussed about the Thevenin theorem, any terminal, okay, any two terminal network convert into a voltage source. So this is suppose voltage source and that is a resistance Rs connect to a load. So what is the power that can be transferred from source to load? Okay, so that is signified by the maximum power transfer theorem. We will discuss maximum power transfer theorem for all the case. First case, when the source and load both are resistive. Second case, when source and load both are the complex, okay, having the capacitor and capacitive and inductive term. And third case, when the source is complex and load is resistive, then what is the maximum power transfer from one source to another source? Okay, so when we are discussing about the power, they are the two condition. Okay, forget about maximum power transfer. There are the two resistance Rs and Rl. Okay, Rs, first resistance is Rs and second resistance is Rl. What should be the value of Rs and Rl? So two term are that we can what is the condition of transferring maximum power from source to load. So if what is the value of Rs, if it is possible to change the value of Rs, so what should be the value of Rs so that we can transfer maximum power to the load. And second, what is the value of Rm? Okay, so before going to the maximum power transfer theorem, we are just showing some circuit. Okay, so and just try to make some concept. So see here we have shown a number of network. Okay, a number of network with different combination and try to find which circuit has maximum power. Suppose this 5 ohm is connected into this 5 ohm. As we have already studied and we will also discuss here, then when the load resistance equal to the source resistance, then maximum power is transferred from source to load. Okay, so this is the first circuit. Suppose, okay, if I reduce, so maximum power is transferred from source to load because we are taking both are the same. So if we make the source resistance is 4 ohm, suppose now instead of 5 ohm, we take the value of source resistance 4 ohm. So and compare this circuit 1 and 2, in which circuit maximum power is transferred. Okay, please stop your video and try to just find in which circuit current is maximum. It will do a very good concept. Okay, now so see, current in the first case is I equal to 10 upon 5 plus 5 1 ampere. Okay, and the power in this resistance is 1 into 5, current is 1 ampere, so 1 into 5, that is 5 watt. While in this case, the current is 10 upon 5 plus 4 greater than the 1 ampere, greater than the 1 ampere. So current in this resistance is I square, so that is greater than 1. So 1 point something square into 5. So this circuit has more power compared to the this circuit. Circuit 2 has more power compared to the first circuit. Okay, so but both resistance are not equal. So what is the conclusion? That if we reduce the source resistance, then the power in the circuit is increasing. Okay, and in second case, suppose this resistance is 5 ohm and this resistance, see the third case, this resistance is 5 ohm, and now suppose we are taking this load resistance as 4 ohm. So which one has now suppose that that is consume the more power? No, because if you fix the value of source resistance 5 ohm, then this circuit, the load is consume maximum power when its value become equal to the 5 ohm. You have the capability, if you can reduce the source resistance, okay, then power will be increased. But when you fix the source resistance, load resistance should be equal to the source resistance for maximum power. So if we consider first, second and third circuit, third consume very less power, then circuit 1, then circuit 2 consume the maximum power. Now again here we have taken 4 and 4, both are again same. So the circuit 4 has maximum power if we compare circuit 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. Now if we fix the source resistance Rs equal to 4 and make the load resistance value 0, it does not consume the power because I square RL. RL is always required. So when you fix the value of Rs, RL should be equal to the source resistance. Now next one case, when if you make the Rs equal to 0 and take the value of this as 4, okay, this is the maximum case of power. So try, if possible, if it is possible to make the source resistance as minimum as possible, please do it. Okay, then in that case transfer is maximum. Okay, so here we have shown that if RS source resistance is variable, then maximum power is transferred across the load when the source resistance value is 0. But what is the condition? We have no control on the source resistance. Okay, source resistance is always fixed. Okay, and we can only vary the load resistance. Okay, so maximum power transfer theorem is defined in this case when we have no control on the source resistance. Source resistance is fixed and we can control or we can vary the load resistance. So maximum power transfer is across the load when the load resistance is equal to the source resistance. So for the maximum power, there are the two cases. Try to source resistance as minimum as possible. So up, you you what you do, if it is possible to reduce the resistance, source resistance as possible as you can, or make the resistance 0, but we have no control on the source resistance RS. Okay. Second, when the source resistance is fixed, make the load resistance equal to the source resistance. When the source resistance is fixed, make the load resistance equal to the source resistance to transfer maximum power across the load. Okay. Now see, here we have shown a case. Now here source resistance is fixed, RS is fixed, and we have to find the value of RL so that maximum power is transferred. So mathematical expression, just current IS is voltage divided by total resistance RS plus RL. Then the power across the load PL equal to I square into RL. So this is BS square equal into RL upon RS plus RL whole square. So this power is the function of load resistance because load is the variable. So that is del PL upon del RL equal to 0. First make the differentiate the power with respect to the load, because for the maximum minima condition, first make the del PL upon del RL equal to 0 and calculate the value of del square PL upon del square del RL square. Okay. So if this is negative, then the maximum power is transferred. So maximum power is transferred when RL equal to the RS, and this is the 50% of the supplied power. Okay. Now see, here we are discussing some important problem 1. So what is the value of RL? What is the value of RL? Suppose this is my 10 volt voltage source, so that maximum power is transferred across this 2.5 ohm resistance. Because this resistance is belong to the source resistance. See, this 2.5 ohm resistance is the fixed resistance. Okay, we are varying the source resistance. So what should be the value of R? Does not take as this 5, because 5 parallel with 5 2.5, we think that the power is transferred. So we for the maximum power transfer, if we have the control to reduce the source resistance, try to make the source resistance 0. So we will take the value of source resistance 0. So this resistance 0 make the short circuit. So maximum power is transferred across the resistance, and that value become equal to the V square upon R. V square is 10 square upon R is 2.5. Okay, because there is no source resistance. Okay, so this is the first important problem. Now we are showing the second problem. Find the Thevenin equivalent circuit between the terminal A and B, or find the value of load resistance across the terminal A and B and value of maximum power. So see, so in the first case, we are showing the power. So see, that is the Ix, okay, and here we have shown a current dependent current source, that is 2Ix. So suppose this voltage is VTH. So this voltage VTH equal to the voltage across this 5 ohm resistance into plus 10 volt. So this VTH is now equal to the 5 ohm and current into the resistance is 2Ix and the plus 10. So the value of, and the value of Ix is the current in the 4 ohm resistance and that is parallel with 10 volt. So the value of Ix is 10 divided by 4. This is equivalent to 2.5 volt. So VTH of the circuit become 35 volt. Okay, and for the calculation of RTH, just short the voltage source. This is a short circuit. Assume the current 1 ampere. So when you short this Ix current becomes 0. When the current Ix becomes 0, that is an voltage current dependent current source. So that is an again open circuit. So there is only a 5 ohms resistance become. So the RTH value become 5 ohm. Okay, so this is the VTH and RTH, and for the maximum power transfer, load resistance should be equal to the 5 ohm, and the value of maximum power is VTH square upon 4 RTH or RL, and so this is my total maximum power into the circuit. Okay. Now second is an important case when the circuit has both source and load are in complex. Okay, source and load both are the complex. So here we have shown the ZS circuit, source impedance, and this is shown as the load impedance. Now we are assuming that ZS equal to RS plus JXS and the load resistance is RL plus JXL. So current in the circuit I is BS upon ZS plus ZL. So this is BS and RS plus RL, real part will be added, plus JXS plus XL. And the value of maximum power is P equal to half I square into RL. That is the maximum power. Okay, so put the value of B current value in this equation, so this become equal to this, because in the case of maximum power, voltage and current are in the same phase and power flow across the resistance, so that is half I square RL. Okay, so now power has the function of RL as well as for XL. So when we make differentiate del P with respect to del XL, now the condition is XL equal to minus of XS. So reactance, load reactance should be negative sign of the source impedance. Okay, so what is the sense of this? So if load is impedance, then source should be capacitance, and if source should be inductive, load should be capacitive, because both have the opposite sign. So del P upon del XL equal to 0, and second term del P upon del RL, because that is the first case when we are differentiating with respect to the load resistance. So load resistance value is now equal to the RL equal to root of RS square plus root XS plus XL whole square. Okay, so ZL. So what is the we use? So there are the two conditions. XL should be equal to the minus XS, and second condition is load resistance should be equal to the source resistance. So ZL is RL plus JXL. When we put this is equivalent to RS minus JXS. So load resistance should be the complex conjugate of the source resistance. So when the circuit have complex load. So in case of complex load, maximum power is transferred across the load when the load impedance is the complex conjugate of the input impedance. Clear? And the value of maximum power is P max is, put the value is here as Rs equal to RL. Just wait, I clear the drawing. So when you put here in this equation Rs equal to RL and XL equal to minus XS, so now power become equal to the Ps square upon 8Rs. Okay. So that is the value of the maximum power. Now, the third case, when source is an impedance and load is an resistive load. So in this case, what is the condition? So that is the just previous case, one more important case. Here, the XL is given 0. XL is given 0 and ZS is given as RS plus JS. So in this case, for the maximum power transfer theorem, always remember this should be equal to the magnitude of the input impedance. So input impedance is root of RS square plus XS square. Real part square plus imaginary part square. Then the maximum power is transferred across the load. Here we have shown an example. Suppose the load, this is showing, suppose source impedance, that is 3 and the J4 combination of RS plus JXS, and this is showing the load. So the value of load resistance should be equal to the 3 square plus 4 square into the root, and the value of RS should be equal to the 5. Okay, so that is the third case. Now one numerical example we are going to discuss here. See, that is resistance 4. Find the value of ZL. Find the value of ZL so that maximum power is transferred across it and the value of maximum power. So this is just equivalent to the problem of Thevenin and Norton. So first calculate the Thevenin equivalent resistance between the terminal and Thevenin voltage between the terminal. So see, what is the value of ZTH? For ZTH, make the voltage source as the short circuit. So this voltage is short circuit, and that is a short circuit, and resistance seen from this terminal is J5. So this is my first resistance J5, and there are two parallel branches, so 4 parallel with 8 minus J6, and when we solve this, so ZT has become equal to 2.933 plus J 4.467. Okay. Now for the BTH, now we are first finding the current in this loop. So that is equivalent to starting from this point 8 minus J, the current I is to current voltage value is 10. So this is 10 divided by total resistance, and resistance is 4 plus impedance 8 minus J6. So this is the current into the circuit. The value of BTH. The value of BTH, because there is no current in J5, so that is 0. This is equivalent to both 8 minus J6 into current into this branch, that is I. Now put the value of I. So the voltage value BTH become equal to voltage into current, and this is 7.454 into minus 10.3. For the maximum power transfer, the value of load resistance would be equal to the complex conjugate of the Thevenin resistance. So this is 2.933 minus J 4.467. Okay. And the value of maximum power is VTH square upon 8 at 8 RTH. Now put the value of this. So this value become 2.368 watt. Okay. So that is the next problem which we have discussed. Now that is an important. In next lecture we will discuss about the Taylor's theorem, that is based on power conservation. Next is Miller's theorem. This is a very important theorem used in analog circuit also. when the load and the output and input are connect through a load. So using Miller theorem, we can divide this impedance connect between the load and the input into two impedance. So circuit become very simple. And third is a superposition theorem in the next lecture. Thank you very much.